Man, you know what my favorite part about being laid off is?
What?
Is
The
that
money?
everyone
The pride?
No, everyone is so surprised when you do anything.
Oh, really?
Or they're just expecting failure.
Like what? Give me an example.
For example, I woke up when Jess woke up today, which was 7 a.m.
Yeah.
And then Matt got back from his girlfriend's place, and it was such an active surprise of, oh, you're awake. Like, just being awake was surprising enough. But then you have it on the other side, Cam, where, of course, you and I had this meeting scheduled for 8:30, and at 8:31, you respond
I had
with
it at
just
8:32.
like, you coming?
8:32.
Like,
because you're always on time. You're always on time.
And you're thinking
it's because
to yourself,
I set you at such a high standard, Cam.
Okay, because I thought
you miss it by a little bit. See, you interpret it different ways.
Yeah,
you look at it as like, woe is me. I'm so,
whoa,
life is hard. I look at it like, my standards for you have not changed. Are yours? Right? Because when you're showing up 2 minutes late, sometimes I'm late, but hey, come on.
Like, you're a second, you're a minute late, and then it's just the immediate assumption that, like, well, he's not coming at all.
Yeah.
I just cancel my plans.
Yeah, but I mean, like, if you were to also text me at, like, if we said, hey, Cam, let's do a 10 o'clock podcast at night, and then it's 10:03, you're going to be like, this dude's asleep.
Cam fell asleep.
100%.
Yep.
Yeah. There's no way he's awake. So if I said, Cam, how about I call you at 6 a.m., and then you don't pick up at 6:01, I'm like, there's no way this dude's awake.
There's no... I think that happened a couple weeks ago, too, where it was like... Or it was something like, I think we were doing a morning show not too long ago, but then you called me when I was I was going to wake up to be on time for the show. I think we were going to start recording at 8:30, so I was going to wake up at 8. But then you called me at 7 with this, like, hey, are we still on? But, like, I charged my phone outside of my room anyways, and then you're probably thinking to yourself, fucking straight to voicemail.
Dude's not awake.
Here we
straight
go.
to voicemail.
This isn't going to work.
You've reached Cam Leclerc or Cam Osborne. I currently don't have a job, and what time is it?
Exactly.
I'm probably
it's
asleep.
like, well, no matter what time it is, you can just assume I'm probably sleeping.
Yeah, check. This is you've reached Cam Osborne's phone. Take a look at your watch, and that's right. I'm probably asleep because that's that time of day. Leave a message. I probably won't get back to you.
That's my new outgoing. I changed my outgoing recently just to kind of say, hey, I'm probably not going to call you back.
Yeah,
I felt like it was
unless
much easier.
you're giving me money, unless you're Serb asking for money or giving me money, I'm not calling you back.
Well, I'm not giving it or taking it anymore.
Yeah, money's due. Too bad. Money's coming in. Send it my way.
Keep it coming, baby.
Great. Well, that's a good intro.
Okay, let's start off. Let's kick it.
Continuing tonight on Two C's in a Pod.
96.7 on your... Two C's in a pod, 2 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 C's just like 2 C's in a pod, because we're 2 C's in a pod, just like 2 C's in a pod, 2 C's in a pod at gmail.com.
Welcome to 2 C's in a Pod. You're home for it's Monday morning for all you folks at home today. Starting off your week cracking. Maybe you have a job, maybe you don't. Who cares? But maybe today you should wake up a little early and tune in because we got a coffee going here. Cam, it's a beautiful day. We got teamed up for the week.
It's a beautiful day. My name's Cameron Osborne. Short of the overcast in the sky right now.
Yeah, short of the not a beautiful day.
Short of the overcast, it was raining a little bit and kind of hovering, just slightly above freezing. But besides that, it is a beautiful day because you're right, Cam. We do have a big show. Coming up. Of course, this is episode 62, I believe. So we're still, marching our way down to that big 100.
That's it. We're charging it down like Charlie Sheen charges down his tiger blood. That is a 2015 reference for all you kids.
No, that's 2012.
Oof,
That's
wow.
way
Good
earlier
memory.
than that. That's way earlier than that. Yeah. I wonder. I wonder when approximately that episode 100 will happen. It'll be 40 weeks from now. So, fuck. I mean, I don't know what 40 weeks is, but I feel like that actually will kind of roughly, possibly coincide with somewhere between yours and mine birthday.
Yeah, we could try and schedule it for that.
I think. Well, I mean, we won't have to try to schedule. I think it'll just kind of come up chronologically.
Depends. I mean, we could easily look at a calendar and determine that, but that seems like it takes a minute of dead
Then you have
time.
to count like 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
I'm sure there's literally internet tools like, how far is 40 weeks from now? It'll be like now, and you're like, thank you, computer.
You think so? You think the internet can do that?
I'm certainly, yeah. What did I look up the other day? There was some test for something that was like, I don't remember what it was, but I did want to tell you about my morning this morning because it was one of those crazy mornings. Take Darla out for a walk, no problem there. Starts to rain on me, not great. But then she's outside just dicking around, just doing dog shit. Next thing you know, she's barking like, like a bat out of hell, just rah, 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 and she never barks like that. So I go outside and there's a skunk with its tail raised in my backyard.
Ooh.
Yeah.
First skunk.
Yeah, and I've seen the skunk around here. It kind of loiters this neighborhood, but this is the first time it was like on my yard. Get off my lawn. And I had to pick her up, bring her inside, and she was just like anxiety out the roof, like running in circles, like, I want to kill this thing. And I'm like, I do too, but the Humane Society says elsewise.
Up at Cam, I think it's definitely not whatever the hell you were trying to say, but I think it's a rite of passage for a dog to be sprayed by a skunk. I mean, I'm sure you have had. We've had multiple skunkings.
I'm sure she
across...
will be. The skunk's not leaving, and we're not leaving, so it's just going to be a battle of the wits.
Yeah, no, it really is. Oh yeah, I've had multiple dogs sprayed multiple times, like the same dogs sprayed. And the more dogs you have, the more likely they are all going to get sprayed at the exact same time. Because chances are if they're chasing down a skunk, all of them are chasing down the skunk, and the next thing you know, then you got 3 dogs running to your house.
One's going, this is a bad idea, guys. We should lay off. He might spray us. I learned this. My brother got sprayed. No, they're just going full bore.
And
Oh, my dogs have been sprayed. We lived in the house together when one of the dogs got sprayed. Remember that? Or were you living with me at that time?
I don't think I might not have been. I feel like I would have remembered.
I think maybe he moved out, but Molly got sprayed by a skunk. She was just like,
and you're
she
not,
ran around.
And of course, you're referring to Connor's ex-girlfriend.
Yes.
She got sprayed by the skunk, and then kind of brought the smell over to the house.
Yeah, very stinky girl.
It was quite unpleasant.
And then after that, we come in. Maybe 10 minutes later, I'm plugging away at my computer, and then I just hear a boom, like something smashes against the window. So I'm thinking either I pissed off the neighbors, or I don't really know what else it could be. Or Darla just ran at the door as hard as she could. Nope. Mourning dove flew, slams against the window. Then it's looking at me on the ground like, what the hell just happened? And I'm looking like, why are all these animals coming to my backyard today?
Of all days today. Well, of course.
Well, just like 2 in like 10 minutes is kind of bizarre.
Well, spring has sprung.
I guess, yeah, there's the time of the season.
The time that people are, or animals are unburrowing themselves and flying back up north. But Cam, I think in your particular area, sort of right across from you in the surrounding area where all these new subdivisions are, I mean, when new subdivisions, new houses, new developments are put up, that could explode.
These aren't new. These have been here since the 80s.
No, the one across, it's like across university from you. Those looked like
across. Yeah,
those look like
new.
pretty new
Yeah.
homes, but as soon as you put up a new development, that will, relocate the wildlife that lived there. Which ends up being a huge problem, right? I saw a coyote in the park that I play tennis at just about a month ago.
Yeah.
Because this kind of shit happens, people or animals are forced out of their natural habitats. The next thing you know, mourning doves are flying into your windows.
Do you know what a mourning dove is?
I'm going to assume it's a bird. It's probably got 2 wings, a beak.
You got it.
It's got those feet that make them look like dinosaurs.
That's the one.
I'm going to
They're the
say...
ones that sound like owls. They go like, whoo, whoo.
Ooh, okay, I would love
those ones?
I would love a no, I don't know bird calls.
Oh, it's that one. Because I swore there was an owl in my neighborhood, and I'm like, we got an owl. Everyone just keep an eye out.
Shut up. We got an owl.
Everyone shut up. And then I heard it like all the time, and I'm like, this owl is real active. And then I told someone, like, I was in a different neighborhood. I'm like, you also have an owl. They're like, that's a mourning dove. They're everywhere. And I'm like, oh, that's
it's a mourning dove, you dumb shit. You dumb subhuman piece
do you even know birds?
Of garbage.
One time I was at a friend's house, and
one time
I think I mentioned something about birds, like, oh yeah, like I saw this bird the other day. And the one kid, it was the two people that I was with, they had kids, and he was like, are you also a birder? And I'm like, I guess I'm a birder.
A birder?
A birder.
What's a birder?
A guy that likes birds and likes to see the birds and identifies, oh, that's a mourning dove. Black-capped chickadee. Know that one.
I thought that was a bird enthusiast. Birder.
No, it's a birder.
That almost sounds like it's devaluing the entire thing.
Yeah, fucking birders this time of year. I thought you'd find this funny too, and then I'll get off my morning bullshit rant.
I mean, I do find things funny. As you know, my name's Cameron Osborne, and I do have a sense of humor.
I guess I'm glad to hear it. This one, so I want to look up right after the skunk came how to deal with a neighborhood skunk on Google. I'm going to let you guess when I typed in how to deal with nay, what popped up.
Oh, now see, Cam, now I thought you would have had your Google search turned off. You accidentally typed how to deal with the neighborhood skank. And then just a lot of really brutal torture porn came up. But I'm going to assume it wasn't that.
Close.
How to deal with nay. So you got to spell Neigh.
Correct.
How to deal with neighing horses.
Nope. That's not on there.
Not even close. I'm never gonna get it. I think that might have been my best.
Think about the most common word after nay. Neighbors, maybe.
Yeah, I thought neighbors. Yeah, how to deal with.
I'll give you this.
Okay, no, I got it. How to deal with neighbors cucking me by having sex with my wife when I'm not home.
No, because that wasn't the most common one.
No. Okay, how to deal with neighbors? No, that's out. No, but no, if it's not about cucking, I really don't know what it would be. So what is it?
So first one that came up, and this just tells you there's two sides of the equation. Mm-hmm. Okay, and there's really two types of neighbors.
Of course, and we know math here. We know math here on the podcast. So of course, there has to be two sides of the equation.
So the first one that pops up: how to deal with neighbors smoking weed, Canada.
Ah, yes.
That is the negative. That is the Karens of the world. And then the next one is the regular people of the world who live beside the Karens. How to deal with neighbors that complain about everything.
Because you're like the top two things right there, right?
Oh, and it keeps rolling down. Like, it's just a cycle. How to deal with neighbors with barking dog. How to deal with neighbors that complain about noise. How to deal with neighbors playing loud music. Like, it's just rotating between. Everyone's trying to figure out how to deal with their neighbors because they don't like one of the two things they do. They either make noise or they complain about it.
They either make noise or they complain about the noise they're making. Well, that's a good point, Cam. Especially if you live, you're in an apartment building or some kind of thing where you're connected to everybody else. I know there's some floors in my building where you step off the... or rather, like the elevator opens and you just smell weed. And it's like, would you want to live on a floor of a building that just constantly reeks of dope? Probably not, right? So you're eventually going to search.
I feel like that's just not ignorant neighbors, but just like neighbors that haven't done enough research into being sneaky.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Being sneaky.
Well, just like finding ways to smoke weed inside that's not going to dank the whole goddamn apartment up.
Don't dank it up.
Maybe you should put up some informational graphics that said, smoking weed inside, I'm okay, brother. How do you fellow teens do? Here's 6 tips that will make your house, the whole apartment, not smell like weed.
Ooh, okay. Tip number 1. What is
Tip
it?
number 1. Open your window.
Classic weed thing. Just open up a window. Of course, the draft
And
takes
now
it outside.
open up the window, but open up your door a little bit as well, so it actually creates a vacuum going through, not just puffing up yours. Because if you just leave one window open, the cold air is going to come in and not actually take yours out. If you leave the door open a crack, it's going to pull the air right through.
Oh, okay, great.
Tip number 2.
Number 2.
Make a homemade spoof. I'm sure you've done this in the past.
No, because those
You've
don't,
never made a spoof?
those don't work, baby. Those do not work.
You don't think so?
I know so that they don't.
I need your pro tips then. I'm no pro at this. That was basically all I had. I said 6. I lied. I would need to go on the internet.
Okay, Cam. Yeah, we'll work on this for next time, though, Cam. But of course, if you are going to come up with a number, you
I
did the
said
right thing.
6. I
No,
was
yeah,
at
you did the right
euphemism
thing.
here, and then you're like, give me the 6.
No,
That's like saying
exactly. You did the right thing because I mean, you could have said like, here are the 11 tips, and then I would have grilled you on 11
Yeah.
tips.
Good
You
point.
did the right thing by saying 6, keeping it the number low. But I'd say next time you make up a number to keep it even lower. Go like, here are the 3 tips.
3 tips.
That way,
Fine.
when I grill you on them, it's very easy to think.
I'm gonna grill you so hard next time you say like, oh, and the other day, this lady said 100 things to me. I'm gonna be like, say the 100 things she said. to me.
Classic Cameron impression
Yeah.
right there.
That's me. I'm
used-
Cameron. I don't have a job right now, and I just talk to the ladies outside, and they say hundreds of things.
Who's
to me.
talking, listeners? Okay, this is me talking right now.
Are you sure? Who knows? We'll never find out.
We'll never
You
know
can't
which
see
one
my
of us.
face.
We'll never know one of us is actually talking. Let's move on with the show here. Let's get to some notes. Notes. We got some notes. We got some notes. Notes. We got some notes. Some things
Notes
from
and
last
animations?
week. I think the word you're looking for is omissions.
Omissions or animations?
I don't know what an animation is, Cam.
No, maybe you should do a little more research, Cam.
Oh God, I hope it's not something. The other day we were talking about the cost of sperm. I think it came up when we were talking about Cam Fella, the stud racing horse who had such a long career as a sperm donor, essentially, with children who racked up millions and millions of dollars in prize money. But when we're talking about the cost of sperm, at least here in Canada, it is illegal to pay someone for their sperm flat out. So Cam, you can't just put an ad on Kijiji, $20 for, a load. That's not allowed. As much as
It might not be allowed, but I'm still able to do it.
you're still.
entirely.
I mean, I guess you can still do it.
And the thing is, what if I put it on there for free?
That's a good point. You're not selling it. That's just someone who's just taking sperm that's on your front porch.
What
However,
about
if you
on buns? What about on buns? Can I trade it?
trade it for some TTC coins? Yeah. It is illegal to just pay someone for their sperm flat out. However, if you go to a sperm bank in Canada, you'll probably be paying between $400 and $650
For what?
for a load, for a sperm amount.
I wonder how much they make you give.
Like
Like they must give a certain amount of milliliters. Like you need to fill up this cup.
well, there are qualifications about you do kind of have to like qualify for being able to donate sperm. Like if you have, they're not keeping around the juice with a low sperm count.
No, I get that. I'm just
certain,
saying
like,
they have.
What are you
Yeah,
saying?
but I mean, there's just fluid, right? There's fluid versus sperm, which is two very different things.
Right. Well, I think we'll let the geniuses in Washington deal with the difference between sperm and semen. I believe is what you're.
That's what we're looking for. The
Go back and
science
listen.
podcast of the day.
The science podcast today. Go back to listen. I think it's episode 13. All sperm, no semen. One of our most viewed episodes on YouTube, which is incredible. And who I don't know why. It's almost like there's a buzzword in there. Cam. Following up from the last week, is LimeWire also torrents? Are torrents LimeWire? How did that work? Of course, LimeWire, we all remember, although it disbanded back in 2008, much like the show disbanded. What is the difference, Cam? It's very complicated, but here's the kind of the Coles Notes gist of it. Really, it's a matter of how quickly these things are being shared. Torrent files are able to be shared much faster because they don't actually exchange the files directly. When you download a torrent, you're downloading pieces of the file from many, many different seeding sources that then all come together as to one file on your computer. Where in a peer-to-peer LimeWire type system, it is a direct transfer of data from one person to the other. So if I wanted to download, let's say 1 Week by the Bare Naked Ladies.
It's been.
And I wanted to download that one from you. I would go on LimeWire. You would have to have 1 Week by BNL or Bare Naked Ladies, whatever we wanted to call them. And then I would be downloading that file directly from you. However, if I wanted the torrent of, let's say, Bare Naked Ladies' greatest hits, featuring such songs as It's All Been Done.
It's been.
1 Week. If I had $1 million, lying in bed just like Brian Wilson did, I would download.
I believe it's just called Brian Wilson.
It's just called Brian Wilson. I would
It's about the pitcher from the San Francisco 49ers at that era.
That's probably so wrong. We'll cover that next week. but if I was downloading the Bare Naked Ladies' greatest hits, I would download the torrent file and I would connect with many different computers who were also seeding the Bare Naked Ladies' greatest hits, and instead of downloading the entire file from one person, it would be like you download half a song from one computer, half a song from another user, half a song, kind of pieces of the files.
And then you're left with 3 halves, and you're not sure how the song's still
and you're not
plays
sure how the
itself.
song is supposed to end, and then you play it backwards. It says "Hail
It's
Satan,
been,
Hail
it's
Satan."
It's been.
It's just
It's been.
and then pretty much you end up with a faster download because you're downloading from more sources than just one
The
kind
speed
of
of the
person.
song is literally faster. I bet that you look at me.
Oh, that's gonna be great for the fans at home. That's all we have for notes this week. Simple one.
And amendments. Amendments was the word I was looking
Amendments,
for.
okay.
Not Adamsons or Adamsons.
I think you said adamants.
Adamants. So I think my family has a history of doing this. We say words because we're overly confident in everything we do, that we project confidence when we say them. They're not words. For example, my sister thought the word for creditations was creditations.
Okay, I kind of added a couple of D's there for some reason.
Creditations.
Well, Cam, I mean, I can't blame you. I'm pretty sure that English is not the first language of either of your parents. So the fact that you've made it this far, especially in the sales world, is incredible.
It's a lot of bullshitting.
I can only imagine dinner at the LeClaire table is filled with
just bullshit, just like defending for no reason other than like, that was my point. You're like, are you sure it's right? You're like, that's not what I said. I said that was my point.
It's like you need a LeClaire English dictionary when you're sitting at the family table and you're like, wait, what did Audrey mean by that? And you kind of flip through and you're like, oh, okay. And then, kind of have like a little, like a Coles Notes just right beside you.
What's the one that we get all the time? They're, have you heard of the term vermin?
Yeah, meaning, kind of like you'd picture like a little rat.
Like a little rat,
like a mouse, they're like little vermin infiltrating your house.
What's the other one? There's another one that he uses all the time for vermin, but it's I don't think it's an English word, but I've used it in sentence before. One of those kind of things. Yeah. Not going to come to bell right out. I'll probably ring my bell a little bit later, as they say. Ring my bell.
Yeah, ring your bell.
You can ring
as they
my
say.
bell.
As they say, folks, we hope you're really enjoying listening to the show. Had a lot of feedback recently about listening to the podcast at different speeds. So on Spotify and I think other podcast players, you're able to control the speed that you play back and listen to us at. I'm hearing a lot of positive feedback, folks. And you should try this at home. On the Spotify podcast player, bring the playback speed to 1.8%. Our voices are still intelligible. You can still understand what we're saying. However, the episode just kind of flies by. 3.5%. I don't even know why they have that level of playback speed on the Spotify player.
See, I know why that's there, though. I use that sometimes when I'm trying to scan for information. I'm looking for a buzz for like work, for example. There's someone that I want to get a hold of, and I know they did a podcast, and I'm like, this is an hour-long podcast. I don't have time for this, but I need to hear the word, glycol dehydration. So then I'll go out 3 times and be like, I know the general section that he talks about it in. Just glycol dehydration right there, right?
Man, that's gonna make the playback speed terrible if we just kind of like shoot off nonsense like that.
It's been
Yeah, it's bad. Man, 1 week would be so much faster. Chicken to China, the Chinese chicken. You have a breadstick and your head starts taking. Watch X-Files and lights on. We're down at Maison. I hope the smoking man's in this one. Cam, this is the unofficial Bare Naked Ladies podcast. I was very fortunate enough where I remember one year volunteering at Laurier. Stephen Page, lead singer of Bare Naked Ladies, he came.
I was there, yeah. He came. And
was that your first? No, you were. Yeah. You were like a RA.
I don't know. I was something. Yeah,
I think you were a Don for low.
I was a
volunteer. Yeah,
off-campus advisor.
And, God, I just remember, and it was like he has these little acoustic sets talking about his mental health, but didn't brush on
the cocaine,
doing cocaine in Thailand, and that's what I wanted to know. It's like
maybe there should have been a Q&A.
There should have been a quick Q&A afterwards where it's like, okay, that's all great. Tell us about being a rock star, because as a rock star, you're privileged to certain things that others just aren't. I mean, it's sort of like you have to live that life, and I think it's your responsibility to kind of inform those who will never live that life
about how the cocaine and what the quality's like in Thailand.
Just something
like what are you looking for?
What am I looking for? I want to hear.
Yeah, do you do it typically off the strippers' bodies, or do you guys share it on a plate? Like, what are you looking for?
Exactly. Is that do you put a little bit of cocaine in like a stripper's bum hole, and then they take a little toot, and then like it puffs into the air, and then you kind of like snort the air around you, like you're smelling for Christmas cookies. I don't know.
The old morning skunk.
I don't know. I mean, it would have been nice to hear some of those words. Unfortunately, I don't think I'll ever get that opportunity again.
Probably not. One of my favorite Q&As from Laurier is when BlackBerry came to do like an Ice Week project, which is just like, we're going to give you a business case and you guys have to resolve it for us. And we're executives and we're going to listen to what you have to say. Mm-hmm. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Anyway, these aren't executives. These are like middle managers who are like, hey, we need someone to go to Laurier and like sit at a panel, blah, 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 and look good for the community. And, people come up with questions like, how are you dealing with Apple? And they're like, we're trying our best. And the people are like, do you think apps are good? And then one person goes up and they're like, recently, 2006, you guys changed your suppliers to the fire, blah, 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 in China, where they had to put up suicide nets outside of the facilities. What do you have to say about this? And they're all like, I work in Waterloo and I get paid not that much, and I'm not going to answer that question because I didn't make that decision.
It's like they're asking Balsillie. What's his name?
Jim Balsillie, yeah.
Tim Balsillie,
Jim.
Like they're like Tim Balsillie's there, and they're just being like, "Hey,
Jim, not Tim.
Jim Ball." I knew it was something.
Oh, Timbo.
What
Timbo.
a fall
What's
from grace! What a fall from grace! He went from being Canada's premier level technology whiz to nothing.
Well, actually, that's not true. So he actually is the silent investor in so many tech companies in Waterloo.
Yeah, I know, but no one cares about silent investors.
I mean, I think it's almost better because no one can call on you and be like, what's going on at the Firefox branch of BlackBerry?
No way.
Tell me why.
We want our face, we want Jim Balsillie up there with his blue jeans and his black turtleneck telling us what's going on, what's new with the products.
Are you thinking Steve Cook?
I'm thinking Steve Cook.
Yeah, Steve Jobs.
Tim Cook?
Apple Cook. Tim Cook. Steve Cook and Tim Cook. That's it.
Steve Cook and Apple Jobs.
Apple Jobs.
Come here
Apple's
to save
jobs.
the company, Cam. I got something here for you, which I'm very excited about because it has been a while since we received an email.
Dear twoceesinapod at gmail.com. Stop plugging your email all the time. Nobody is going to write you.
It's been a long time, I feel like. Of course, the inbox is always open, twoceesinapod at gmail.com, twoceesinapod at gmail.dom, for any of the Dom sub-related information. And because, of course, we're a very charitable organization here at the at Two Season Pod. Of course, I don't think the listeners know about our bottomless piggy bank. I will just so listeners are aware of sort of how we fund things here at Two Seasons Pod. We have a room filled with a giant porcelain pig with his pants pulled around his ankles, making him bottomless, and that's where we just fill all of our cash and recently all of our shitcoin. Cam, you have kind of taken a little portion of our bottomless piggy bank and invested in shitcoin, which operates similarly to Bitcoin, but instead of like a blockchain type of technology, it's just a room full of shit.
It's over a lot of people's heads. Me and Jim, I call him Jim.
Yeah.
Jim Balsillie, he's a silent investor within shitcoin.
Of course. Well, I think Jim Balsillie purchased the large airport hangar in Idaho, where we just sort of store all of this shit, hoping that it will appreciate in value one day. And let me tell you, it has not. I think the current shitcoin value is at about 0.07 cents per shitcoin. But Cam,
look at the upside potential.
You
though.
have
I think
done
that's what
your
people are
market
missing.
research, and you've seen sort of where it can go from here.
I'm big on it.
Interesting.
I'm a big pump and dump guy. That's what they call it. Pump and dump.
Pump and dump. Taking big, well, yeah, I mean, if we're talking shitcoins. Cam, but we do need to hop onto this email because we did receive an email with the subject line, hello. Which I love hearing the subject line, by the way. I mean, it kind of cuts to the point. Is it me you're looking for? I mean, hopefully we can be them. From Lila Lucas. It's pretty interesting. We have, in our past, we received an email from a woman named Sophia Lucas, who was diagnosed with cancer. She left us $11 million because her and her husband had no kid. This woman's a big believer in faith. So, this one's from Lila Lucas. I wonder if there's any relation with you. The email starts, "May the peace of God be with you, my dear," which I thought was really nice. "My dear, I'm writing you this mail to you with heavy sorrow in my heart. This message mighty comes to you as a surprise, but I chose to reach you through the email because it still remains fastest medium of communicating with you. Please give me this little chance to explain myself to you. I would have liked to meet you in person before departing from this Mother Earth, but due to illness, continue to deprive me the chance. But even if I die on the process of this illness, I will still praise Almighty God. My name is Lila Lucas. I'm a woman diagnosed with cancer about a year ago. Immediately after my death, my beloved husband, who has left me everything he worked with and bank deposit of the sum of $11 million?
Perfect.
With my name as a legal rightful appointed beneficiary to the fund. But next of kin, according to the doctor, they have no next of kin. Now, I can tell you, this one is a scroller. This one is a scroller.
Oh, boy.
Something about Jeremiah 22:15 through 16. For all you God people out there, you can get up. Anyways, there's $11 million at stake, and it will be my great pleasure to compensate you with 35% of the total money for your personal use, 5% for any expenses that may occur during the transaction. And while 60% of the money will go to the charity project, or better still, you can invest the total fund into your personal business ventures and make sure you assist the orphanages and less privileges and do other charitable works with the profit you will make from this business.
When they say profit, are they talking about bottom line or are they talking about the profit?
They're talking about bottom line here. Profit. I think profit,
Not
of course,
the
is
PH.
PROPHET.
And when they say bottom line, that sounds very similar to shitcoin.
Well, I think you said bottom. I think you said bottom line.
I'm just saying.
there.
Anyone else seeing the connections here? Maybe we should invest. Who knows?
It'll be my pleasure to see that the bank has released and transferred the fund into your bank account there in country even before I die here in the hospital. Because of my present health status, everything need to be processed rapidly as soon as possible. Please kindly respond quickly. Thanks, and may God bless you. Yours sincerely, Miss Lila Lucas. Lila Lucas, God, terrible to hear that you're going through such things. Do we think this is any relation to, of course, Sophia Lucas? It seems a bit odd that both of these women, same last name, both diagnosed with cancer, both left us $11 million for charity work. Both have no next of kin. I mean, this is fantastic. I think this $11 million should go straight to the shitcoin, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I don't see any reason to invest in anything else.
I see no reason. But Cam, I mean, I do have to say, you know, I've been watching a lot of Catfish lately.
Ooh,
and
tell me about it.
It sort of seems like, you know, with similar last names, similar amounts of money being given, similar backstory. I don't know. I don't want to be catfished by this, by the Lucas sisters.
Yeah, I'm on board with that. We're probably not, though. I mean, that doesn't happen to everybody.
No.
We're probably fine.
Of course it's not going to happen to me.
No, why would it? That wouldn't make any sense.
Of course, it's not going to happen to us here on the podcast. Of course, if you do have any other charitable donations, twoceesinapod@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you, whether it's about helping the community or, you know, just leaving a voice note. You have something you want to sell, or really you're just kind of looking for your 15 minutes of fame.
Yeah, really, literally anything. Send us a voice clip. Send us an email. Send us your latest song that you made, and we'll roast it.
We'll just make fun of you ad nauseum.
We'll put you on air and blast.
Put you on blast.
Put you on blast. Don't even at me. Don't even at me.
Well, except at gmail.com, twoceesinapod.
Yeah, at me. Just don't at me.
Right. At us.
Yeah.
Don't at
us.
me.
At me.
But at us in the podcast, yeah.
Just subject line, it's been, and then whatever you want.
It's been.
You know how it goes. You know how it goes. You know how shit goes.
I know how it goes. They're Canadian. They're famous Canadians, as it were.
Yeah, not many of them out there. Well, I guess there's plenty. Do you watch the Grammys?
No, I don't care for.
Was that on it, or is it the Oscars? No, it was the Grammys, right?
It was the Grammys. I don't care for award shows.
Nor do I.
That's about it.
Yeah, I read an article that said like viewership on it, it's like way down. I'm like, well, yeah, what do we expect? Like, of course it's going to be way down. No one cares about this.
Well, yeah, especially something like whether it's the Grammys, the Oscars, the Emmys, the Golden Globes. It feels weird that everyone's always mad in every circumstance. Like,
well, I mean, look at the neighbors, right?
Of course,
it's either you're making noise or you're complaining about it.
And so I feel like any award show in the last like 3 or 4 years, I feel as though it wasn't always like this. Maybe we weren't as in tuned with the world, but it's like the entire process is people mad. The nominations will come out, and then people are mad about who wasn't nominated. And then the winners are announced, and then the people are mad about those who didn't win. It's like no one's ever happy for somebody for winning a Grammy. Imagine that, like you spend your entire life working effortlessly for something, trying to achieve your goal. You achieve it, and then the entire internet's just like, man, this guy can go fuck himself.
Yeah, this guy
imagine
nothing.
that. Yeah, just like fucking gaslighting somebody like that because...
What does gaslighting mean?
Like just kind of, putting someone on the spot, putting you on blast. I mean, that's a good
adding them.
Just directly atting them. I think all of these are appropriate. Kind of like things or whatever. But it's like.
Do you know where it comes from, gaslighting? Because I feel like that's a term that's come out in the last like 2 years. Be like, just try to gaslight me.
Well, it's sort of like, I think in certainly a lot of cases when there is, certainly that we've seen in the past however long, where there's like an accuser and an abuser, sort of things like that.
Why is it gaslighting, though?
Why is it called gaslighting?
Yeah, I always like to get to the epidemiology of it. Like, cat out of the bag was one of my favorite ones. Do you remember what that one was?
I don't remember what it was, yeah.
So the cat out of the bag was like a old story that they used to sell like an animal, and they'd be like, yeah, there's an animal in that bag, and they were like, it's a rabbit. And then they'd get home and they'd open it and they're like, there's no rabbit, there's a cat in the bag. And then like the lie is out, so the cat is out of the bag.
Oh, right. I'm gonna say I'm gonna say it comes from something like gaslighting. It would have to come from, I'm gonna say it's like a book where it's like either like something famous enough that people started saying it and everyone knew what it was.
Well, I know that, like, obviously it came from somewhere. I'm just trying to find, like, the actual term gaslighting.
Yeah,
like,
I'm going to say...
I guess you'd light gas on fire, so then it's like there's a flame, and then that's more visible.
No, I was going to say the opposite. I was going to say, like, it's a book called Gaslighting, where there's, like, something happens in the book.
Catch-22.
And then something happens in the book, and then it's like, what that circumstance, now we will be calling it gaslighting. Just similar. Jess and I like to say, instead of punching up a script, we like to say mank it up after we watched that movie Mank on Netflix, and we loved it so much.
Yeah, that's a reference no one else is going to get.
Oh, are you kidding me? It got 10 Oscar
10
nominations.
Views? Yeah, okay. 10 views, maybe.
Oh, of course. Yeah, you want to talk awards. Mank's going to run home with the Oscars this year.
Who watched the Oscars anyway, though?
Nobody. Still nobody.
Yeah,
right?
There we go. So how do I know? How am I going to know? Tell me that.
I don't know. You'll see something on BuzzFeed the next morning.
The cat's out of the bag.
It could be something like that. Yeah, we'll check into gaslighting for next week. But yeah, I'm gonna say it has to pertain to.
What if it came out from that Dixie Chick song? You know that one?
No, there's a Dixie Chick song called Gaslighting.
Gaslighter, denier.
Well, yeah,
Nothing?
I bet if you were to search the lyrics of that song, I bet you could find sort of the arena in which gaslighting sort of takes place.
Gotcha. See how many metaphors we use? The arena that it takes place. Well, that's from the Colosseum days. That's when they fought and they learned a lot about each other. Speaking of learning a lot about each other, that reminds me. Here's the train thought. What movie type is learn a lot about yourself? Coming of age, which is one of the 3 categories. Bringing me to buddy cop, and buddy cop is.
The second type?
Knight Rider. I was thinking about it this weekend. Knight Rider is definitely a buddy cop.
Of course.
But it's not the cop. The buddy is the car. So it's a spin on whatever. Spin on words? I don't know.
Of course. No, it could be, one could say it could even be the penultimate buddy cop movie. Or buddy
What's
cop.
That mean?
Penultimate, like the... God, there's a lot of words on this show. Let us know. twoceesinapod@gmail.com.
How many words are there, Cam?
Penultimate
Be accountable.
Means kind of the, I would say, like the epitome of, like the ideal version of something.
Oh, okay.
I think that's what I would say, like the tip of the peak. Like LeBron James is the penultimate basketball player in that he can shoot, rebound, pass, drive the lane, defend.
No, wouldn't he be the penultimate good basketball player? Because like the essence of a basketball player. I think it's
immediately associated with the goodness of it.
The best? Oh, okay, because I thought you meant the essence. Because like the essence of a couch is having 4 legs and a cushion.
But the penultimate couch would be probably
the
like
one at my house,
comfortable,
the big giant one.
Comfortable, good lumbar support. One that could, you stretch out your feet on.
It does have the word that sounds like ultimate in it.
Yeah,
so that's a good sign.
That's a good sign of what the word is.
And do you know why they say good sign? Because there's often signs that give you information.
Yes. Signs. The signs say
sign, everywhere sign.
That don't need not
do this, don't do that. Hey, who gives you the right?
This is moving too fast. I had something to say like 4 thoughts ago, and now I'm just trying to remember what the fuck I was talking about.
Back then, okay, I'll do a little recap.
Okay.
We were at sign, everywhere sign.
Yep.
Rocking on the scenery, back in my mind.
Yep.
Do this, don't do that. Can't you read the
signs? Yep.
From there, we said it's a sign because we said ultimate is a sign of penultimate or whatever the word is, and buddy cop is the penultimate version of Michael Knight's Knight Rider, which then stem from, that reminds me, there's 3 types of movies, buddy cop, coming of age, and that's where I'm lost. I don't remember how I got to coming of age. I learned a lot about themselves, learn something about yourself, and after that, it's gone.
Yeah, I don't know where this thought came up for you. You were just sort of
brain's kicking hard, man.
The 3 types of movies.
I know things. Yeah, Mr. oh, penultimate, oh, Mr. Big Word. I'm going to come up with a dialect next week that you're going to be like, wow, Cam, your vocabulary's improved so much.
Now, of course,
Are
Cam, when
on
you say
Duolingo
come up with a dialect, you mean that you're going to invent like a little new language to yourself, kind of like with a full grammar structure.
Basically,
like it's French.
because your vocabulary is so shit, it's going to sound like that to you.
Yeah, it's going to be like you're speaking Klingon, and I just have no clue what you're talking about.
I'm on a penultimate.
I'm a penultimate.
That new Denzel Curry song, Penultimate.
Yeah, Denzel Curry. He's such a great basketball player. Cam,
Just like Robert Wilson did.
Yeah. Hey, man, lying in bed just like Robert Wilson did. Cam,
Notes and emissions, everybody. Hey, speaking of
omissions,
notes and emissions,
thank you.
At Admissions, the book of Admissions.
The book of Admissions, yeah, right after the book of Job. Of course, in the Two Seasons Pod Bible, as we all know, we're starting to sell these. They're pretty much exactly like the King James Classic Standard Christian Bible. They're pretty much the exact same, but gays are allowed to marry. That's kind of our biggest thing. Is that kind of like you open up the Bible and then in like bold lettering it says gays can marry,
chill.
and then everything's chill. We're cool with y'all. And then it just goes into normal Bible, and then, on the first day, God created
theory,
this. Yep,
and then after that, talks about how the right wing should be pushed further to the right. It gets very detailed on that, but a lot of the same concepts.
Yeah. Very, very much the same piece of text. Just rewritten. Cam, let's move on here with the show because you brought it up. When we are talking about the ultimate buddy cop, we think of, you think of traditional police officers. Of course, we are saying buddy cop. It can be detectives. I mean, hell, even Sherlock Holmes is a buddy cop movie, right? To some point, right? It's just a couple friends figuring out mysteries. And
no, that's definitely a buddy cop because it has Holmes and Watson.
That's what I said.
What about ones that only have one cop, but don't have a car to go with it, such as like a lot of Steve McQueen movies?
No, there's probably a second. Or it's a coming of age, or it becomes a coming of age movie.
But I mean, like, in a sense, the car doesn't talk to him, but the car is the star of the show.
Or it becomes a coming of age movie then.
Ah, okay.
There's no second person. If Smokey had no bandit, then yeah, it would just be a coming of age television show. But Smokey's got a bandit. Starsky has a hutch. So we just kind of avoid that conversation, Cam. But like we were saying before, you got into this because, God damn, it's just on your mind. So let's give you another edition of the Nightcap. The Nightcap, a shadowy flight into the dangerous world of a man who does not exist. All we need is 5 minutes to recap this week's episode. Maybe less than 5 minutes, but certainly not more than 5 minutes. We're gonna need more than 5 minutes. Cam, of course, we going through Knight Rider season 1. Of course, we're talking with David Hasselhoff, 30-year-old David Hasselhoff, by the way, which is one thing I think was important to talk about. Of course, last week we covered all the action on the military base. And of course, now we're moving over a little bit. So we're going to put 5 minutes on the clock because, as you know, that's all the time that we've got to do it. Cam, I got the first half for you. I want you...
Me and my timer ready. Go ahead.
I want you to picture a beautiful fall evening.
Oh, are you starting? Can I click the time?
Have
or no?
not started yet. Cam, I just want you to bring yourselves back, and of course, listeners at home, bring yourselves back to a lovely Friday evening in the fall of 1982, because we have for you episode 104, Good Day at White Rock, Knight Rider, 54321. We open up with a lot of bad guys counting cocaine at 5 in the morning, very inefficiently, by the way. They had one scale and like 3. I had no clue what their means of production were. But of course, if there's cocaine at 5 in the morning, Michael Knight is going to thwart your plan. We then see Devin, who we barely saw last episode, at a restaurant where, we're eating classy escargots. So Michael Knight thinks to himself, hey, I'm going to order the classiest meal there is. Fucking cheeseburger. baby, give me that cheeseburger. He asks for a vacation because, goddamn, he's just been working so hard. I mean, between this week and last week, I think there's some kind of gap where he's continuously doing missions for Knight Industries, but like we don't like kind of see it. It's kind of like off camera, by the way. So we're on vacation, and we want to go and relax and do some, do some rock climbing. And what better place to do rock climbing in what I'm going to call Anytown, USA. It's got a nice little local market. They sell fish. They sell grubs. And this is where we meet Carrie. She owns the local kind of worm and restaurant shop, which is a two crazy kind of combinations, where we eat our second cheeseburger of the episode. Michael Knight must be pretty hungry. He's working pretty hard. Of course, Carrie has a little brother who's like 8 for some reason. Davey. I don't know. There was like a 25-year age gap between these two possible. But hey, we've already taken one kid for a ride in Kit, so let's take our second kid for a ride in Kit, and let's get Chris Hansen on the phone, because this does feel a little bit odd. Of course, the kid wants to show off the car, but ends up getting beaten up by a local boy with a 35-year-old older brother. Something's going on in this town where there's this huge gap of time between people who are actually giving birth to kids. And this is where we find the dirty cop, too. There's a little bit of a seedy element to this town. Not quite a seedy, because we've got a bunch of motorcycle clubs coming into White Rock. They're clearly bad because they're drinking wine from a lambskin pouch. They're drinking, driving. Hell, even one of them is a priest. These bad guys are so bad that they openly vandalize a van in the middle of town. And they vandalize the van of the bad guy in the middle of the daytime. Nothing is worse than beating up the bad guy. Of course, after this sort of beating up and distressing the van, we sexually harass Carrie and just try to steal a lot of shit from them. But while this is going on, of course, Michael Knight is on vacation. He's rock climbing, Cam. He broke the first rule of rock climbing. Never talk about rock climbing. He broke the second rule of rock climbing. Don't rock climb by yourself. But when it's time for him to return, when he hears, oh shit, a lot of stuff's going down, he comes back to the Worm Burger joint and gets in a fight with the head biker and gets thrown in jail, like many other Knight Rider episodes before this.
Yeah, after he gets in the fight with the head of the Scorpions with a knife fight, the rest of the bikers swarm and smash his car during that time, but who ends up in jail? Michael Knight himself. Now, there's no chance that we're going to end this episode in jail, so what is Michael Knight going to do? Call his trusty car, who is now in the impound lot, from his smartwatch, which seemed like old technology or new technology back then, but today's day seems like, yeah, of course you can do that. These jails aren't particularly good because he was able to very quickly see the keys were hanging right outside of the jail cell, as you do, and was able to take out a spring from the mattress, take out some thread, throw the spring, hook the keys, pull them in, just like every good escape. After that, managed to break out. Kit breaks out of the impound lot, obviously causing some trouble at the local sheriff's office. From there, he has the choice. Do I get out of town or do I save this day? Because, hey, there's trouble brewing with these Scorpions. He goes ahead and goes to the Scorpions hangout, does the old switcheroo with the clothing to get some intel on these bad hombres. He finds out the biggest bike war on the West Coast is coming to White Rock, and it's with the Road Dogs. He gets out of there, but little boy Davey, the brother, isn't so keen and ends up going to the camp and gets kidnapped by the Scorpions. Michael walks into the police office and tries to give his case, saying, hey, we need to do something about this. Work with me or don't. But either way, this town's getting saved. Heroically, Michael, Kit, and Lady go back to the joint where the Scorpions are hanging out, go manage to save Davey, get in an absolutely fantastic car chase. And Cam, I don't know if you picked up on this, they jumped over a river in their car, completely destroying that car in real life because it landed on its nose. But hey, we're not worrying too much about that. They keep chasing him. He gets ahead of them. He pulls behind them. He goes all over the place and eventually flies down the road where there's a trap set up, and you find out, hey, maybe that cop's such a good guy because he sets up a clothesline to capture the rest of the Scorpions. The Road Dogs end up coming to town, see the pileup of bikes, and are spooked off because the sheriff is holding a shotgun.
That's it.
Boom.
That was the 5 minutes. That was concise. Of course,
that was a lot of information packed in there. I think you're going to need to slow that one down instead of going to 1.8 speed.
You might have to slow that one down. If you listen to that at 1.8, you're not going to catch a single second of it. So be sure to tune in next week when we're checking out episode 105, or don't, and just listen to us. Kind of give us a succinct recap of all
give
the
us your own
action.
5-minute recap over video.
We'd love to hear it. Of course, twoceesinapod@gmail.com.
great.
Send us anything. Of course, you want to be heard on this show, and that's the way to make it happen.
Overall, good show. Without getting too much in depth, I love that these old shows have no continuing storyline. So you walk into it, it's basically like they just made 50 movies. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, it's I think it will come around back to the tech company that was in that first episode. The X-Files operated in the same way, where they would have 22 episodes a season or whatever. And there was an ongoing storyline of the aliens, right? When you think about your typical X-Files, and the story of the lead character's sister being abducted when he was young, but then the episodes in between that are just kind of like Monster of the Week episodes. So, you'd have the episode about, the shapeshifter, then the episode about El Chupacabra, and then you would throw in a plot alien episode. And then you may have 3 episodes without aliens and sort of following, and they get shipped off all over the United States. And then we're back to the ongoing plot. And sort of, it lets you keep a plot over an extended period of time. And, you have to fill, and you got to remember, I think, before 1997, nobody, a 13 episode season, that was unheard of. No, you book for 24, 22, whatever it might be. You have 2 seasons a year. You kind of have your September to May, or sort of whatever that arc sort of ends up being. And then you got to keep it going. You got to keep the shit on television.
Don't know why you keep bringing this up, Cam, but we did watch The X-Files with no lights on. We're not allowed to mention. Hope the Smoking Man's in this one.
Of course, the Smoking
Plowing
Man.
ahead here.
The Smoking Man is part of the ongoing plot of the X-Files. So when Stephen Page said, "Watching X-Files with no lights on," bracket,
we're don't mention
smoking cocaine in Thailand. We're dans la
Smoking
maison.
cocaine in Thailand. The Smoking Man's in this one, and I'm the Smoking Man.
Exactly. You don't want to be the Smoking Man, because anytime in X-Files you saw a lit cigarette or an ashtray, you knew that something was afoot, because he was, for a huge part of that series, the bad guy, the overarching bad guy. Yeah.
All right, well, let's get ahead to the final game here. Great recap, Cam. Let's can't wait for next episode.
I really can't.
But we have a few headlines to plow through to figure out. Are they headline, or are they, again, more asinine?
Hey, headline, asinine. Headline or asinine.
More asinine.
There's lots of asinine in this show.
Cam, how about you start it off?
Okay. Pull up the shit I have. Pastor who heals people by farting on their faces claims he farts the Holy Spirit.
Wow. Well, this, this is par for the course, of course. When it comes to religious ceremonies, people seem to be okay with maybe getting a little too close to somebody. Of course,
a little bit,
or it'd be you prick yourself with some blood and then you rub your blood on someone else's forehead and then they're like, I'm saved. You kind of hear shit like that happen, but yeah, taking a little toot on someone. That would be something. I think my biggest thing for me would be, where does it have to take place? Because of course, if it's going right in your face, I'm really more worried about pink eye. Having all those fecal particles flying through the air. If someone's like, I'll fart on your back, I would be like, I'm not happy about it. But I'll let them do it. My biggest question is, what do you have to eat to be expelling the Spirit of the Lord? I mean, of course, Jesus Christ of Nazareth. And by the way, thanks for calling yourself Jesus of Nazareth. It makes it sound a little more like you're from Lord of the Rings or something. I am Jesus of Nazareth, son of Orthrak. the vulture. Which I do appreciate. I mean, of course, as we know, classic story, there was only a little bit of fish and a little bit of bread. And then Jesus snapped his fingers, and there was fish and chips for everybody. So I wonder, do you have to eat like a lot of fish and a lot of bread to truly like kind of encompass that spirit of the Lord? I'm going to say this is from a country that I will never vacation to personally, but it's probably still happening. So I'm going to say it's a headline.
This is a headline out of Limpopo, which is a South African province.
Yeah, we guessed that one.
And this pastor from the Sevenfold Holy Spirit Ministries, often confused with Avengefold, seemingly has people lined up for months to sit on their heads, not on their face, on their heads, the side of their heads, and fart giving the Holy Spirit in order to release the Holy Spirit to its members. Not the most sanitary practice, but hey, you got to believe what's working for you.
In the side of their head, like it's going into their ear?
Well, some people want it on their face, some people want it on the side of their ear, yeah.
I'd want it in the palm of my hands, then I can rub it all over my body, Kind of like I'm lathering myself with the Lord. A little Lord lather.
Little Lord lather. Everyone likes a little Lord lather, a little bit of Lord fluids.
Okay, Cam, I got one here for you. Woman arrested for creating deepfake images of cheerleading team so she can cyberbully them.
Well, that's a deep cut. I mean, the first question I have here is, yes, she's cyberbullying them, but I feel like they were real bullying her beforehand because no one goes to that extent for someone they just don't know. So am I team cheerleader? In most cases, and you probably saw the video of the two high school or the football players mouthing off to those two MMA guys in the last few weeks. Do you see this?
Cam, I don't want. You hear about this, Cam? I'm not in tune with the MMA world.
It's not MMA video. It's I guess it is.
You just said it was.
These two jocks are at a sporting event and they're just mouthing off, being like, "Look at me, pussy! Look at me!" And then they look at him, they just crack him with the right hand, take him down, take his back, then mount him and just beat the living shit out of him. So it's one of those like, be careful who you fight because even though you're a big football player, doesn't mean you can't get your ass beat. Back to this story, I think that girl likely was heavily bullied and was like, oh, you think you can bully me because I can't like be cool? I'm going to get extra revenge on you. So that's a headline.
Cam, that is a headline. I feel as though you may have misheard me throughout the actual explanation of the headline because
Which is typical.
Which is typical. Nothing, which is normal. But I said woman arrested. I didn't say girl arrested because, of course, this story is coming out of Pennsylvania where a 42-year-old,
okay, that's not bad. Wow.
42-year-old mother created deepfake images of members of a cheerleading team with the purpose of cyberbullying them. The woman's name was Rafaela Spone. Possibly Spone. She's 42. She's charged.
Spinone.
She's charged with cyberbullying after making images and videos of at least 3 of the cheerleaders that made it look like the girls were nude, drinking alcohol, and in some photos, even vaping. She also created fake cell phone numbers, which is easier than you think. I've tried it, but not for a sketchy reason. She also created fake cell phone numbers where she would text many of the other girls on the team, urging them to kill themselves. After many complaints were made, police took out search warrants and were able to track her down via her IP address, where they found all of these, the posts, the photos, all the messages were all coming from her house. Now, here's the weird part. Spone's daughter was on the same cheerleading team in 2019, and the girls who she harassed online were the same ones who are the daughter's friends today. Of course, the girls weren't named or anything like that, but an interview with the daughter said, "I don't know why my mom would do this to my best friends." Charges are still pending. We don't know what's going on, but yeah, it's the dangerous world of cheerleading moms.
I'm not surprised that cheerleading moms go crazy, but this is a whole new level. So this is sad to hear. Let's keep plowing ahead here because we don't like to talk about revenge porn too much.
This is the second time though we've said revenge porn on this podcast today. So who knows? That could be the episode title.
Who knows? Oh God! Yeah, I'll tell you what. We're gonna get a lot of views if we title it that.
That may outdo All Sperm No Semen, and of course, I think it's episode 18 is little boys' underwear. That's also a very highly viewed video of ours on YouTube and Pornhub.
Follow us. Yeah, follow us on Pornhub.
We should upload our videos to Pornhub. Like, it's just the audio with like an image, just to see. I think it's a free, like, anyone can upload, right? I don't know. Maybe we'll look into this.
No screaming on roller coasters under California's new COVID plan.
Oh, this one's tough. Of course, California, home of you got Disneyland, you've got Universal, and I think Star Wars, not Star Wars World. One of the like larger worlds is there. I don't think it's Harry Potter or Star Wars. One of those kind of things I think is also in California. Now this is tough because it does arise a lot of those questions going into the future. Like, I was thinking the other day, I was walking behind somebody and someone puffed out a massive cloud of, I think I can only assume they were training for the Vape Durham Classic.
Right. Possibly. Cloud chasing too.
Possibly cloud chasing.
Cloud
chasing. And I was thinking to myself, like, will people be more uncomfortable of people smoking and walking down the street in public? Like, you can see the smoke that's been in their lungs and now you see it in the air and you see it coming towards you. Like, it's almost like this manifestation of all the things you don't want. And I'm sure if you were to kind of like put some vape smoke in these people screaming on roller coasters, you would just see, all this smoke going in everyone's face and their eyes, and it is truly not safe. How do you stop people from screaming? I don't know. I think at a lot of these parks you need to wear masks anyways. So screaming under your mask is just kind of akin to breathing or speaking under your mask. I'm going to say this is asinine.
No, this is a headline. This is a headline under the new California Attractions and Park Association rule, which is backed by California, essentially saying they want to spread the limit of the coronavirus, of course. And because reopening guidelines are setting that these places such as Disneyland, Universal Studios, and Six Flags could open a limited capacity within the month, they have to change some of the ways they're doing things. And included that is, please stop screaming, stop having fun, and stop living your best life. Anyway, that is all.
I don't think I'm a screamer on roller coasters, or I'm more of like a woo kind of guy. I'm a wooer. I'm not an ah.
You're
I'm
a wooer for sure.
Woo. Because I like roller. I haven't been on a roller coaster in some time, but God, do I like riding them. Cam, we have another headline here for you. Atlanta lottery winner dies after gold plating his testicles.
This one screams astronaut all around. Gold plating your testicles. I could see you trying to get like bling for your junk, but gold plating your testicles just doesn't. I don't even know how you do it. I don't know why you do it. It's kind of cool, but I'm gonna go ahead and call asinine on this one because this one just doesn't make any sense.
Cam, it makes a perfect amount of sense. It is asinine though, but it does make sense.
How do you gold plate your nuts?
I don't know. I picture it's almost just like a permanent scarf. That's what I kind of pictured. I kind of pictured, you kind of get like a gold mold of your balls, and then kind of
like grills, basically.
Yeah, that's what I kind of pictured.
All right. Well, tell me this one, Cam. A little hi-oh, no hi-oh. Texas man pleads guilty to cockroach fighting.
Cockroach fighting. Wow. Now I could see how this would be a headline, of course, just because I believe that any sort of underground gambling, sports, betting is illegal. So that's where the fine would be. But really, like, I would want to get in on the cockroach fight because I feel like dog fights, that's off for me. Controversial. I'm going to say
cockroach.
No. I mean, I was a huge Michael Vick fan until I found out he played football. And cockfighting, similar. What's the, I mean, it's, we're watching these things, but cockroaches go at it. I mean, God, these have to be big cockroaches. Do cockroaches fight? Are they similar to our naked mole rats from the other week where they're actually prejudiced towards each other due to, the way they look? Like one cockroach is like, hey, you've got a different color shell than I have. And then one's like, hey, gabagool. I'm going to say it's a headline, but not because the cockroaches were fighting, but because of the illegality of having like an underground fight arena.
I like your train of thought. I would say that probably is the legal part. I doubt they ban any type of cockroach fighting, but this one I made up. It's asinine.
Yeah. I feel that was kind of where I was like the other side. It's like the cockroaches weren't the illegal part. It was the
cockroach,
the gambling part, which was legal. Cam, I've got my.
All right.
Is this my final? This is the final headline here for you.
Yes, sir. Let's hear it.
Here we go. Higher in Ohio. What was the other one? Bologna or salami. Oregon DUI suspect had a record-breaking 0.77 BAC.
Did it say suspect?
Suspect. Oregon DUI suspect had a record-breaking 0.77 BAC. Blood alcohol
so the limit
content.
I'm trying to think what the limit is. Like 0.05.
This is your moment for deliberation, Cam. I'm not.
I believe the current limit is like 0.05 or like 8. I think it's 8 right now. Within 5 to 8, you get in a little bit of trouble. After 8, you're drunk. 7.77 means that almost 1% of your blood is in alcohol, which basically means that he must have took a shot right beforehand, blown the breathalyzer, and they're like, "Yeah, we're almost reading 100% here." So I think if you actually looked at you took his blood work, it'd be much different. But because he probably was like swigging on the bottle as they spoke, that's going to impact it a lot. So I think it is pretty realistic. It's just not the way you'd think it is. Not like he was so drunk he did this. It was because he literally had booze in his car at the time and was swigging like moonshine as he drove and was also very drunk. Headline.
Cam, this is a headline, and follow me on this one. This is a story out of Madras, Oregon, where police were able to obtain a vehicle after a hit and run after a short, very slow speed chase, apparently. This happened at around 1 p.m. in the afternoon when a traffic camera caught a car running off the median, hitting a concrete barrier, and then scurrying off. When he was apprehended, obviously drunk, he was brought into the police station for a blood test, where this person had a blood alcohol content of 0.77. Blood test, which is 9 times more than Oregon's legal limit of 0.08. Not only, but to add insult to injury, he had a suspended license. God, like your day could get any worse. But more importantly, Cam, like I said, this could potentially be a new
our new goal
state. This was a new state record for the state of Oregon. Back in December of 2007, a woman was found comatose behind the wheel of her car with a BAC of 0.72. Cam, in case you didn't know, in most cases, a BAC of 0.4 or 0.5 could be considered fatal. According to Rutgers University, a BAC of 0.55 would require a 100-pound person to consume 10 alcoholic drinks per hour. So if you had 10 shots in an hour, you were 100 pounds, Cam. Of course, I know you're kind of creeping around that 200. You would probably need about 20 shots.
260.
If you had probably 16 shots
in like an hour,
in 60 minutes, you would have, you could be creeping up on that fatal level of BAC. And just for the record, the highest ever recorded blood alcohol content was a case from 2005 in Bulgaria, where a 67-year-old man had a recorded 0.914 BAC.
Legend. Is he alive?
If you're drinking that much at 67, that was 15 years ago. I mean, he'd be 82 now, so I'm going to say probably not.
You never know.
You never know. Let's find him. Couldn't find the name on him.
Get him on the pod.
Get him on the podcast. We'll love to hear from him. twoceesinapod@gmail.com. And that is all the time we have for this week's show. Thanks for listening, folks. Of course, you can rate, review, like, and subscribe to podcasts everywhere. twoceesinapod@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you, and we all hope that you enjoy the rest of your week.
Lovely. Well, folks, stay tuned for next week. Have a great start to your week. And never forget, the average person will spend about 6 months of their life waiting for red lights to turn green. I'm Cam LeClaire, signing off.
Take care, folks.
Continuing
Tonight on Two C's in a Pod.
96.7 on your... Two C's in a pod, 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 two C's just like two C's in a pod, because we're two C's in a pod, just like two C's in a pod, two C's in a pod at gmail.com.